Today I'm going to explain how to use basic skills that you learned throughout the years in solving problems that might look to some people as if they are complicated or I would say complicated. We're not inventing the wheel. All what you need is to just focus a little bit, use the principal skills that you learned throughout the years to solve the problem. And honestly, there is no difference between drawing line graphs and real life graphs. Let me show you how. In this question here, two electricity companies have different tariffs. Company X charges $30 per month and then $0.02 for each unit of electricity that you consume. So how can I translate this sentence into an equation? All right, let's say, so company X charges, which means here that the cost per month is equal 30, you're going to pay it anyway. Add to it $0.02 multiplied by each unit that you consume. So basically, this is the equation that you need to form. Company Y charges $12 per month and then 0.04 for each unit that you consume. So the charge here is equal to $12. You're paying it anyway. Add to it $0.04 multiplied by each unit of electricity that you consume. If you're not used to the equation in terms of C and U, then you can say that C is Y equals to 30 plus 0.02x. Same applies here. If you're not used to C and U, then you can replace the C with Y, and 12 plus 0.04 multiplied by each unit that you consume, which we're going to replace it with X. So the first skill that you used is algebra. How to convert or how to translate a sentence into an equation. For each company, write a formula, and that's what we just did, that shows the total monthly bill that you will pay as C if N is the units of electricity that you're using. We did put U instead of N, which is perfectly okay. The second skill which you learned throughout the years is to draw a line graph or a graph of a straight line. How would I know that it's a straight line? The power of Y as well as X is 1, 1. So it is a graph of a straight line. All right. So in this case, we're going to choose the X and Y efficiently, or which serves the purpose, or which makes the plotting easier for me to apply. So I'm going to say here, this is the first table, and here is X, here is Y. X is basically the units, and Y is the charge, right? And the first equation that we formed is C is equal to 30 plus 0.02 U, and another table here with X and Y, and the equation that we formed here, this is U, and this represents the C, and it's 12 plus 0.04 U. So the first table represents company X, and the second table represents company Y. In order to get rid of the decimal, so we must start with a U that is equal to 100. Okay, so if we replace the first U as 100 here, and you substitute it in the equation, so you're going to say 30 plus 0.02 times 100. If you insert this in the calculator, you don't really need to calculate it yourself. You're going to end up with 32, y as 32. Then you can substitute u as 200. So if you consume 200 units of electricity and you add to it that $30, you're going to end up with C as $34 in total. Then if you substitute U as 300 and you substitute it in the equation, so you're going to say 30 plus 0.02 times 300, you're going to end up with $36 in total. If you substitute U or X as $400, so you're going to say 30 plus 0.02 times 400, and you're going to end up with $38 in total. If you substitute U as 500, then you're going to end up with $40 in total. Let's carry on. If you substitute it as 600, so let's insert this in the calculator. So you're going to say 30 plus 0.02 times 600, and you're going to end up with $42. If you substitute it as 700, then you're going to end up with 30 plus 0.02 times, sorry about that. So you're going to say 30 plus 0.02 times 700, and it's going to be 44. So as you can see here, there is a pattern. There is a pattern from 32 to 34 plus 2, from 34 to 36 is plus 2. So I can, without using a calculator, assume that if I consume 800 units, this is going to be 46. And if I consume 900 units, this is going to be 48. Let's go to the second equation. So, like I said, always think of choosing X smartly, which is U in this case. So I need to get rid of the decimal because it is always easier for me to plot whole numbers on a line graph rather than plotting decimals. So if I choose here to start with 500, U as 500, so you're going to say 12 plus 0.04 times 500, and you're going to end up here with $32. If you substitute U as 600, so 12 plus 0.04 times 600, and this will be $36. And again, we have a pattern in Y. It's like we're adding 2 every single time. So 700, it will be 38, 800, it will be 40. I'm sorry, so 32 plus 4. I'm so sorry. We just need to notice the pattern here. So 32 plus 4, I'm gonna end up with 36. 36 plus 4, I'm gonna end up with, sorry about that, I'm gonna end up with 40. And then 40 plus 4, it will be 44. And if U is equal to 900, then I will add 4, so it will be 48. Have you noticed something? Have you noticed something? We have something in common between the first table, which is a table for company X, and the second table, which is the table for company Y. As you can see, if U is 900 here, we're going to end up with the cost that is equal to $48 in total. And the same, if U is equal to 900 in company Y, we're going to end up with a total cost of 48. All right. I will tell you why do we need to notice this. So we haven't used here any skill that is new for you. The skill that we used is choosing the X values, which is U here, smartly. And we should think of it that I really need to get rid of the decimal. So that's why we started with 100. And since we have a calculator, then it is easy for me to choose the values of X, which is U here, smartly. So the second step, since we chose the values of X and we substituted the value of X in the equation that we formed at the very beginning of the question, and we found the values of Y, then the second step or the third step that you're going to use here is plotting, which is something that you already know. So we're going to say here that if this is my Y and this is my X, so this is X, which is in brackets, the U, the units that we consume, and this is Y, which is in brackets, the total charge. Okay, and as you look at the values, the U, we chose it 100, 200, so we're adding 100 every single time. So we're going to start 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900 here. And if you look at the values of Y that we got when we substituted X or U, so it is basically even numbers, right? So I'm going to start with, let's say, counting by 8. Counting by 8. So 8 from 0 to here is 8. Then I'm going to add another 8, so it's going to be 16. Add 8, it will be 24. Add 8 here, it will be 32. Add 8, it will be 40. Add 8, it will be 48. Add 8, it will be 56. Add 8, it will be 64. Add 8, it will be 72. And at last, add 8, it will be 80 here. All right, let's start with the plotting. So the first value, if you look here, is 132. So we're gonna go to 100, tuck, 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 and 32. This is the first plotting so that I can draw the first line. Let's say that I do not want to plot every point that I have. So I don't want to go 234, 336. So I can jump immediately to 948. Tuck, 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 and the 900 on the x-axis. So this is the second point. And all what you need to do here is just grab your ruler and connect this point with this point. And you will draw the line. Sorry, excuse my freehand. And this will be the line, the address of this line is C equals to 30 plus 0.02U. We're gonna do the exact same thing for the second table or for the second equation, which is C is equal to 12 plus 0.04U. So we're gonna start with the plotting of 500, tuck, 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 and 32 on the y-axis, tuck, 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 tuck. Oh, this is my point. And I don't want to plot every single point. So I will jump immediately to 948, which is this point. Woo! Have you noticed that this point, the x and the y, are exactly the same for the first equation and the second equation, for the first company and the second company, which means that if I connect this point with this point using a ruler, they're going to meet at this point, right? So this second line, and again, sorry about my freehand, this second line, the address for it is 12 plus 0.04u equals to C. Have you noticed that this point is, which is again 900,48, is the solution for both equations. C is equal to 30 plus 0.02u, and C is equal to 12 plus 0.04u, which will take us to the second part of the question, where they want us to solve these two equations using the graph. So I have just showed you how to solve it using the graph or using the tables. Sorry, I have to go up there once again. Using the tables, when we substituted smartly the values of x, which is u here, when we substituted them smartly in both equations, we found out if we substitute x, which is u, as 900 in both equations, we're gonna end up with a y, or with a cost of $48, which means that the solution of the two simultaneous equations is when x or u is equal to 900 and c is equal to $48. Okay, let's see that. So I showed you so far two ways to solve the last part of this question, which is using the graph to estimate the number of units for which both companies would charge the same amounts. So in both companies, if you consume 900 units, you will be charged $48. Let's say that you weren't able to choose the values of u, which is x, smartly, and you weren't able to find that when you consume 900 units in both companies, you will be charged $48, or you weren't able to find it by drawing the two graphs and plotting the meeting point of the two lines, then you should jump into solving it algebraically, which you definitely know. So the first equation, which is for the first company, the X company, y is equal to 30 plus 0.02x, which is the same as c is equal to 30 plus 0.02u. I'm going to use another color for the second company, which is y, and y is equal to $12 plus 0.04 x, which is the same as c instead of y, 12 plus 0.04u. If I want to solve these two equations, which is the same as these two equations, simultaneously, then it would be easy for me to get rid of the C. Why the C or the Y here, which is the exact same as C? Because the coefficient of Y is 1, 1. The coefficient of C is 1, 1. So by subtracting the two equations, I will get rid of the Y. And that's what it means, solving simultaneous equations algebraically, which is getting rid of one of the two variables. So I'm either gonna get rid of the Y or of the X. Since Y has a coefficient of 1 in both equations, the green and the red, then it is easier to get rid of Y by subtracting the two equations. So we're gonna say here 1y minus 1y, bye-bye, it's 0, equals to 30 minus 12. 30 minus 12, it will be 18. And then 0.02, and mind the sign that is ahead. 0.02 minus 0.04. So it will be minus 0.02x. Again, 0.02x minus 0.04x. It will be minus 0.02x. Perfect. So if you have a look here, we have a linear equation with one unknown, which is x. So we need to find x using or by applying opposite operations. So if we send the positive 18 to the other side of the equal, it will be minus 18 equals to not 0.02x, but minus 0.02x. In order to isolate or to keep the x on its own, we need to divide each side of the equation by the coefficient of x. And what is the coefficient of x? It's negative 0.02, not 0.02, negative 0.02. Because what does negative 0.02x mean? It means negative 0.02 times x. So the opposite to times x is divide by the coefficient of x, which is negative 0.02. So negative 18 over negative 0.02, it will be equal to x. And if you divide a negative number divided by a negative number, the answer is a positive number. And if you divide 18 by 0.02, the answer is 900. And as we learned previously, when we find the x for any two simultaneous equations, we need to substitute it in any of the two equations in order to find y. So, like we said, C here represents the y and U represents the x. So we're going to say if x is equal to 900, let's choose this equation. So y is equal to 12 plus 0.04x. Then we're going to substitute x here. So y is equal to 12 plus 0.04 times 900. And accordingly, you're going to find y as $48. So when are you going? The answer for this question, when are you going to be charged? When are you going to be charged the exact same amount when you consume the exact same amount of units of electricity, it is when you consume 900 units, whether in company X or in company Y, you are going to be charged $48. And this is how you solve this question in 3 different ways. Either by substituting smartly the right values of X. And how do you think of it? You think of it that you want to get rid of that decimal, or by drawing the line graph of each equation, and by finding the meeting point of the two line graphs, and then you write the coordinates of this meeting point as X and Y, or by solving the two equations simultaneously, as you learned in algebra for the past years. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you find it useful and educational enough. Please watch it a couple of times in order to learn these basic skills and you master them. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of your day.